Okay, so for years now, I've had this crazy dream of hiking the mountains in northern Italy and central and western Switzerland. And this dream, in just a couple days, is finally coming true. I'll be backpacking for 2 weeks into the Dolomites and Switzerland. And obviously, this is a trip which would otherwise be super, super expensive. I mean, it's still not like crazy cheap, but I just wanted to share a few tips and ideas of how to save money and budget your backpacking trip without any hostels. Let me just mention that because I know hostels are not a fan favorite. I do not like hostels, so this just pretty much voids your trip of any shared bathrooms or shared dormitories. So, yeah, let's just get into it. There's a bunch of ways to save money, and first one would be book in advance. This one cannot be stressed enough, especially with a destination like Italy or Switzerland, which are like filled with tourists year round. You want to make sure that if you're doing a trip like this, you book far in advance. By this, I mean anywhere from like 4 to 6 months in advance. And I know this seems a little risky because it's like, oh, what if plans change? The great thing here is you can always book refundable accommodation or even car rental options. I find the best platform for this would be like Expedia or Booking.com, which I'll circle back to anyways. But basically, you can always filter for refundable options. And then, even if there is an option that is like a little bit out of your budget range, I would like, book that, and then you can often refund these like bookings until just a few days before the actual travel begins, so it's super risk free. So book that, and then if anything, you can always circle back like a couple weeks or a month later and see if anything more affordable has popped up. But definitely book in advance, because I booked some places like 4 months in advance and they were already sold out, or the prices were just crazy. So yeah, definitely book as far in advance as you can and just take advantage of that refundable policy. And then, so two would be like basically, as I mentioned, circling back to prices. So you might have booked a car rental and it might have been like a little bit out of your budget. A month later, maybe a couple weeks later, circle back, and who knows, something's like a car rental, especially, prices may fluctuate. So you can always, book the original one, refund it, and then just rebook a cheaper one. I actually did this on booking.com. I had booked one for the Dolomites for 6 days 4 months ago. I booked one, and then I looked back a couple days ago just because I'm always trying to save money for this trip, and I saw it was actually $250 cheaper. So I just canceled the first one and I rebooked this one, and there you go. I saved myself $250. So that's definitely a great way to check prices and to save money. So, and then number three is what I mentioned, booking.com. Booking.com is a great, great travel site. It's super easy to use, super reliable, and you can filter so many things. You can filter your budget, whether you want free breakfast, whether you need free parking. So it's a super good tool, and I often find that it has one of the largest varieties and the cheapest prices. Expedia is also great. I feel like booking.com is one of the best ones. I even book flights on there. It's a great, great website. And then we have free breakfast. So when you're on these travel sites, maybe you can try to, depending on how this fits into your itinerary, you can try to basically just filter free breakfasts. And then this might save you a little bit, because a free breakfast at a hotel may very well be cheaper than booking another hotel with a similar price, but then having to splurge on an expensive breakfast in a place like Switzerland or Italy. So for me, I booked a few of these. However, depending on your itinerary, you might not even be in the hotel during the time that breakfast is served. In this case, I'd say your best option to budget is to go to a supermarket and just get yogurt or like some healthy fruits, nuts, some other snacks, and that way you can save money and enjoy your trip still. And then, yeah, and then another option would be, this is really important. This is Switzerland exclusive, getting a Swiss travel pass. So there are so many benefits to this. It's designed for tourists and foreigners. So basically, a Swiss travel pass includes free transportation on almost all trains, buses, and boats within the country. The only catch is like some panoramic trains and cable cars, you still need to pay 50% of the fee, but otherwise you also get free admission to museums. So this is a huge plus if you like plan on exploring a bunch of the like a huge area of the country, or like town hopping, or like I'm doing backpacking. If you're just going to one or two cities, then this definitely wouldn't be for you. But yeah, if you're gonna be going to a lot of Switzerland, then definitely check out this option. And for instance, for two people, it'd be 900 Canadian. While this seems like it's still a lot, it's actually a lot cheaper than it would be just paying for each segment of transportation individually. And another thing, not only does it save you money, it also just saves you worry and inconvenience of having to like rush to a train station, buy your ticket there on the spot. So yeah, this is definitely like a better option. So I definitely recommend the Swiss Travel Pass. You can get it at SBB Switzerland or Switzerland Travel Center online. That's where I booked my. I just find they're like a more reliable site. And then lastly would just be to try to book your, depending on how once again this fits into your itinerary, maybe try booking your accommodations on the outskirts of a major city, because obviously in a touristy area your accommodation rates are going to skyrocket. So I find that if you're going to make use of like the Swiss Travel Pass, for instance, you have free accommodation, free transportation, already. So if you want to go to Zermatt, maybe try staying in Tash instead. You can save probably $100 on accommodation for a night, and then just take the bus for free to Zermatt, and it's super close. Like I plan on hiking between the two distances, and I found that it just saved me a bunch of money. So yeah, these are just if you're planning like a backpacking trip or you just want to budget a trip in general, these are just some ideas and tips to make the most of your trip while not spending as much as you normally would have to. So if you have any other ideas, let me know, and please subscribe to my channel.